At the party, Sage, my husband's female buddy, lost a game and was egged on to reveal the boldest thing she'd ever done with someone of the opposite sex. Her eyes playfully scanned the room, finally settling on me with a teasing grin. I once took care of Ethan's sexual urges. The entire room fell into absolute silence. I felt the baby in my womb kick me hard. She seemed to just realize it, waving her hand dismissively. The game continued. This time, Ethan lost. The penalty card read, find someone of the opposite sex present and passionately kiss them for 3 minutes. There were only 2 women present, Sage and me, but they all, as if by unspoken agreement, pushed Ethan towards Sage. Grace is pregnant. She can't handle it. He was laughing. She was making a scene. A crowd of people held up their phones, egging them on and taking pictures in the dim light. I couldn't take it anymore. I abruptly stood up and overturned the coffee table in front of me. Wine bottles and fruit platters crashed and shattered across the floor. The private room instantly fell into absolute silence. Under everyone's gaze, I held my lower back, slowly straightened up, my voice as cold as ice. Not enough thrill for you? I'll call in something even more thrilling to liven things up. I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. Hello, 911? There are people here engaged in public indecency. Ethan was the first to react, his face filled with rage. He rushed over to snatch my phone. Grace, are you insane? We're just playing a game. Do you have to be so dramatic? Looking at his hand still resting on Sage's waist, I suddenly wanted to laugh. Yet, tears welled up without warning. Ethan, when our child is born, what are you going to tell him? That his dad couldn't control himself, and his mom was a complete and utter joke? Ethan's face turned cold. He instinctively turned sideways, shielding a wronged-looking Sage behind him, as if I were the aggressor. Suppressing his anger, he said, Sage threw this party especially for you. Do you have to ruin it like this? For me again. Ha! Asterisk slap. Asterisk I turned and slapped him hard. The entire private room was so quiet you could hear everyone breathing. Sage stepped forward, hooked her arm around Ethan's neck like close buddies, and used an even cruder nickname. Don't you dare talk back to your grandpa, punk. Then she turned to me, looking helpless and magnanimous. Grace, we're just like this. Ethan never thinks of me as a woman. Don't take it to heart. As if it just occurred to her, she pushed Ethan towards me. Aren't you going to apologize to Grace? She's pregnant, and if this escalates and the police get involved, no one will have a good time. One sentence, and everyone's eyes filled with contempt when they looked at me. Ethan stood stiffly, refusing to lower his head. Sage chuckled conspiratorially, whispered something in his ear. He quirked the corner of his mouth, then reluctantly looked at me. I was wrong, okay? In that instant, a wave of nausea rushed up my throat. I left the private room without looking back. I didn't expect Ethan to follow me out. Inside the car, there was an absolute silence. My stomach throbbed with increasing pain, yet all I heard were his complaints. Why are you arguing with Sage? She has that blunt and easygoing personality, almost like a guy. If she really thought anything of it, would she be stupid enough to say it to your face? Use your head. Can you stop being so sensitive? Sage and I are innocent. You're the one who has to cause a scene and embarrass everyone. Something in my chest snapped. Utterly shattered, I abruptly told him to pull over. On the roadside, I shouted, trembling all over. I've had enough of both of you. I gasped for breath, tears blurring my vision. I had acute gastroenteritis, vomiting and diarrhea, and you went with her to a music festival. I was so exhausted I had a threatened miscarriage. The doctor told me to stay in bed, and you went all night clubbing with her. Every single time I needed you, you were with your best friend. Even today, after she said those disgusting things to my face, you're still defending her, and you ask me if I have to be so dramatic? I looked at him, speaking each word distinctly. Ethan, we're over. No response. In my ear, Ethan chuckled softly, muttering, don't worry, Grandpa's got you. No one will bully you. I froze. Only then did I realize he had been looking down at his phone, the screen displaying Sage's latest social media post, a pouting selfie, tears still clinging to her eyelashes. Almost got mistaken for the bad guy today. Sob sob. He was typing a reply below it. My heartfelt declaration of our breakup had, to him, been nothing but irrelevant background noise. Back home, I was alone. GYN. Doctor, I'd like to schedule an abortion. The next day, I was woken by a sharp, stabbing pain in my abdomen. Ethan was sitting on the sofa, seemingly suffering from amnesia regarding last night's argument. His face wore its usual gentle smile. He handed me a glass of warm water, his tone light. "Honey, I can't be with you today. There's a bar acquisition to discuss. It's very important for the company." He was always like this, leaving me to spend the night filled with resentment and anger, as if by pretending nothing happened, the disgrace and pain would simply vanish. The intense pain made me instinctively clench his hand, but his other hand was still typing furiously, completely oblivious to my distress. From outside the mansion came Sage's undisguised shout. "Ethan, your grandpa's here. What are you dawdling for, punk?" Ethan immediately pulled his hand away, put down his phone, and ran to the door. I collapsed to the floor, my elbow accidentally lighting up the phone he'd left on the coffee table. A group chat titled Miss and Her stunned my eyes. I involuntarily tapped into it. My whole body froze. "Grace is so dramatic. I told you two weren't a good match long ago. Bringing an outsider to every party is a real buzzkill. You should have just married Sage back then." Sage sent a sticking out tongue emoji. "It's my birthday today, so don't mention that buzzkill." Ethan said he's buying me the Mist bar as a gift. Below it was Ethan's agreement. "Kneel before your grandpa. Your life is mine." Sage immediately replied with a kneeling emoji. "Deal. No family allowed today." It felt like a bucket of ice water had been poured over my head. I shivered uncontrollably from the cold. So that's how it was. People can fake it, but a social circle doesn't lie. When I first met them, everyone was polite and friendly to me. I naively thought I had been accepted. They were always a solid fortress. And I, from beginning to end, was the intruder, excluded from their circle. The cramping pain in my abdomen grew more intense. Trembling, I took out my phone and photographed the evidence page by page. When returned for his phone, I was already curled up on the sofa in pain. He didn't even glance at me, rushing to leave. "Honey, my buddies also want to go to the bar. You're pregnant and won't be able to hang out with them, so don't come." My face was pale, cold sweat streamed down, and I clutched his sleeve. "My stomach hurts. Can you take me to the hospital?" It was a question with a pre-known answer. It was also the last chance I was giving this 10-year relationship. If he turned away, then we would truly be over. During the standoff, Sage impatiently urged from outside. "Hurry up. You're so slow." Ethan flung my hand away, his face filled with annoyance. "This again? Grace, can you stop using the baby as an excuse?" I was thrown back onto the sofa. My heart shattered along with it. Sage walked in from the door. She feigned concern, advising, "Oh, why are you being so fierce? Pregnant women are like this. A little sensitive. Just humor her more, okay?" Ethan scoffed, his eyes full of disdain. "If she were half as sensible as you, I wouldn't be so exhausted." His gaze suddenly landed on Sage. He suddenly reached out and tucked the visible waistband of her underwear back into the edge of her jeans. He complained, "Silly girl, you didn't even notice you were exposed." Then, his hand naturally moved to cup her firm butt, and he smiled suggestively. "Nice feel." Sage giggled, swatting his hand away. Amidst their laughter and playful banter, they disappeared out the door. I calmly dialed Leo's phone number. "Leo, you know the address of the Mist bar Sage booked for her birthday, right? I'll come find you later." He simply replied, "Okay." Ethan didn't know that Leo was my childhood friend. After more than 20 years of friendship, I knew better than anyone what platonic friendship truly meant. 10 years of a relationship, from high school sweethearts to husband and wife. I had to see for myself where this relationship had truly begun to rot. Inside the bar, the lights were dim, and the music was deafening. Wearing a hat and a mask, I sat in the most inconspicuous corner, shielded by Leo. In the center of the booth, Ethan and Sage were surrounded by a crowd, being egged on. Sage took a mouthful of alcohol and tilted her head back. Ethan leaned down and transferred the drink directly from her mouth to his. Harsh wolf whistles erupted from around them. During their playful antics, a drink accidentally spilled on Sage's white t-shirt. Her chest was instantly drenched. The outline of her black bra was clearly visible. Amidst squeal, Ethan almost reflexively took off his jacket and tightly wrapped her in his arms. Then he turned around and yelled at everyone, "What are you looking at? Turn away!" After that, he bent down and gently dabbed her with a tissue. His actions were filled with an intimacy that ignored everyone else. In that moment, I felt like a ridiculous thief, hiding in a dark corner, secretly watching the tenderness that should have been mine. pathetically watching the father of my child instinctively protect another woman. Leo beside me was trembling with anger, and I held him down tightly. After a long hesitation, I tremblingly dialed Ethan's phone. Across the dance floor and through the crowd, I saw his phone light up. He glanced at it. The ringtone stubbornly chimed once, then again. He just watched it, never answering. Sage in his arms pouted and complained. "You promised you'd only spend time with me today." Ethan smiled. To placate her, he casually threw his buzzing phone into the champagne ice bucket on the table. Raising an eyebrow, he said, "My little darling, is this enough for you now?" Seeing finally smile, Ethan lifted her above his head and happily spun her around. The bar was filled with her excited screams. I put down my phone and stopped recording. My tears had long soaked my mask. Ethan, 10 years of a relationship, turned out to be so cheap. I hope you're ready for utter ruin. Perhaps tired. The group finally quieted down and chatted. Sage's voice drifted over in snippets. "Do you know what the funniest thing is? The night Ethan got married, he came to me with the engagement ring he was supposed to give Grace, knelt down, and asked if I'd be his best friend for life, then put the ring on my finger. My heart felt like it was being squeezed by an invisible hand. I instantly remembered the ring Ethan claimed he'd accidentally lost at our wedding." Sage continued. "I joked then that if I wore the ring, he'd have to give me a child. But I was afraid of pain and didn't want to carry it myself. Guess what this idiot said?" Ethan laughed, drained his glass, and in a tone so calm it was cruel, announced the answer. "The baby Grace is carrying right now. That's Sage's and mine." Boom, something exploded in my mind, leaving it blank. In my ears was Leo's furious growl. In my vision, Ethan's nonchalant profile. I instinctively clutched my stomach. The fetus in my womb seemed to sense this immense absurdity and moved violently. In that moment, the joy of life had become my greatest irony. From the very beginning, Ethan lied to me, saying he wanted to ensure the best chances for a healthy baby, and IVF would be better for the child. Countless days and nights, I took medication until I was nauseous, and received injections until my belly was hard. The day it successfully implanted, he pressed his ear to my belly and gently said, "My sweet baby, Mommy and Daddy will give you the world." It turned out that the mommy in that sentence was never me. Sage's voice drifted over again, filled with boastful disdain. Ethan really had foresight. Just look at Grace's shapeless figure now. TSK. I certainly wouldn't want to become a dowdy wife like her. I couldn't listen anymore and turned to leave. Just then, in the bar, Sage had probably laughed too hard and choked on a candied fruit. Her face instantly turned purple. Seeing this, Ethan completely lost it. He rushed over, wrapped his arms tightly around her from behind, and used all his strength to perform the Heimlich maneuver on her. In that moment, the fear and desperation in his eyes were something I had never witnessed in 10 years. This scene utterly shattered the last glimmer of hope in my heart. I turned away, no longer looking at their embrace of survival. I told Leo, "Let's go to the hospital." The moment the anesthetic was injected into my body, cold instruments entered my body. In the last second before my consciousness faded, I told myself, "Grace, from today, you are free." When I opened my eyes again, Only was by my bedside, his eyes red-rimmed. I instinctively touched my lower abdomen. It was flat. A long-lost sense of lightness flooded my heart. I turned my head, my voice hoarse. "Where's Ethan?" Leo said nothing, just handed me a video. The footage was a bit shaky. In the hospital hallway, Sage was crying, hugging Ethan tightly, and loudly declaring, "I can't lie to myself anymore. Ethan, I love you." Amidst the cheers of their friends, the two passionately kissed. The prince saved the princess. Their love had finally triumphed over the wicked witch, and I was that pathetic, laughable witch. My heart felt like a large hole had been carved out of it, and tears slid down uncontrollably. The second video showed Ethan holding Sage and walking into the hotel across the street. At the same time, my phone received a strange text message. "Honey, my phone fell into the ice bucket, so I'm using a friend's phone to text you. Sage isn't doing too well tonight, so I won't be coming home. You and the baby get some rest. Good night." I stared at that message for a very long time. Then, slowly, I sat up. "Leo, please put that abortion confirmation form, along with all the embryo photos, into the most beautiful gift bag. Also, go find me the most boisterous street performance group." "What are you planning to do?" Leo asked, bewildered. I said, clearly, word for word, "Why?" "To go to the hotel with this grand gift. Of course." and boisterously welcome a mistress for my husband. The street performance group quickly got into position. I immediately started a live stream, feigning distress for the camera. Everyone. Lately I've had a real headache. My husband and his female buddy claim they have a platonic friendship, but it just doesn't look like it to me. The live chat comments immediately showed mockery, another paranoid one. Can't a guy and girl just be platonic friends? Definitely petty. I immediately shook my head, denying it. No, no, no. I'm not petty at all. After much reflection, I've come to a realization. I paused, watching the number of viewers in the live stream rapidly increase. If they truly are in true love, I've decided to bless their union and personally bring this mistress into my husband's home. In the live chat comments, insults and sympathy flew equally. After getting the room key using a method I learned online, I led the street performance group in a grand procession towards the room, pushing the door open. Inside, the room was a mess, and two stark naked bodies were intertwined, unable to be separated. I clutched my mouth, exclaiming dramatically, "Wow! Oh, what a touching display of friendship!" The street performance group was dancing with gusto. The ladies cheerfully blocked the doorway. A vibrant red banner unfurled, its large characters particularly striking, a devoted husband of the Ethan family, whose loving wife is here to welcome his new addition. The two inside were disheveled and terrified. The live stream chat exploded. What kind of annual drama is this? A wife leading a team busting an affair? Sisters, record this. Let those two cheaters go viral. My eyes. I need eye drops. Ethan had never been so humiliated. He frantically pulled the sheet to cover Sage, while he nervously searched for his pants. Looking at his pathetic state, I remembered many years ago how he queued for 5 hours in the cold just to buy me a limited edition lipstick. He would clumsily make me ginger tea when I had my period. He would also stay up all night wiping my forehead with warm water when I had a cold. Yet, this very person had, from the very beginning, orchestrated a massive deception against me. His kindness, given and withdrawn so easily, it was a skill, one I admired. Ethan, is it really that hard to truly love one person? Before I finished speaking, I laughed myself. He got dressed, stumbled forward, his face livid. "Grace, do you have to make such a terrible scene?" Around us, more and more guests and hotel staff gathered, drawn by the commotion. I smiled, openly spreading my hands. "Terrible? I'm simply arranging a happy occasion for my husband. This is a huge celebration." The crowd instantly erupted, their whispers almost drowning him out. "TSK, TSK. He doesn't think his own cheating is terrible, but has the nerve to criticize others. His audacity is thicker than a city wall." By this time, Sage had dressed. She rushed out from behind the bedclothes, crying and screaming, and buried her head in Ethan's arms. What did I do wrong? How dare they treat me like this? I was so enraged. I laughed. Since she loved drama so much, I'd completely tear down her stage. I raised my phone, turning the screen towards everyone. The video of them mouth-feeding drinks and embracing while soaked at the bar played on a loop. Everyone, look closely. She really did nothing wrong. Just talked behind my back, coaxed my husband into buying her a whole bar, and threw herself into his arms while soaked. What's that? Just a small affair. I deliberately cupped my hand to my ear and leaned closer to her. Come on. How did you declare your love to him in the hospital hallway? Say it again. Let everyone be moved. Sage's face flushed crimson, and she shrieked as if giving up all pretense. I said I love him. I do love him. So what? Love? I slipped off my flat shoe and slapped her hard across the face with the sole. If your love means relentlessly pursuing him after he's already married, then your love is truly filthy, despicable, and disgusting. She thought her opportunism was a skill, but it was merely stepping on someone else's genuine feelings to elevate her own pathetic sense of existence. Pitiable, tragic, utterly laughable. Sage, her face covered in tears from the slap, twisted in Ethan's arms, whimpering, her voice thick with emotion. Ethan, if loving you is a sin, I'd willingly face utter ruin. But today, it's either her or me or her. I had to admit. She looked quite touching when she cried. Her tear-streaked face was truly pitiful. So's choice became obvious. He roared at me. Grace, what exactly do you want? The veins on his forehead throbbed, a clear sign his anger had reached its peak. You go back first. I'll handle this. See? His loyalty was never with me. That familiar chill surged in my heart again, but this time, I felt an unprecedented sense of relief. Yes. When was it ever different? The moment Sage shed a tear, he would bare his fangs at me. You're being unreasonable. My patience has limits. The feeling's mutual. I calmly looked at him. The heart that had beaten for him for 10 years finally came to a complete halt. I turned, looked at Sage, who was still sobbing, and clapped softly for her. Congratulations. Cinderella finally got her glass slipper. But guess what happens when the clock strikes midnight? Once upon a time, wasn't I also the girl who stood on tiptoes, yearning for a prince's affection? For love. I gave up a promising path and entered the ivory tower of marriage. I thought giving my true heart would earn me eternity, but I watched helplessly as everything I cherished was wantonly trampled by others. But now, I didn't want it anymore. I truly didn't want it anymore. I pulled a document from my bag and flung it at his face like a piece of trash. Ethan, let's get a divorce. He instinctively caught it. When he saw the contents, his face instantly turned ashen. Divorce? You want me to relinquish all assets? We once promised each other we'd never easily say goodbye, no matter what. He knew I was serious this time. He stumbled forward, trying to grab my hand, his voice tinged with a panic I'd never heard before. Grace, can we talk, please? His gaze softened, but as it swept over my flat abdomen, he suddenly froze. He belatedly realized something. The baby? He gripped my shoulders, the force so strong it felt like it would crush my bones. I'm asking you, where is our baby? I let him shake me, a cold smile slowly spreading across my face. Leo, bring in the package. Leo handed me the exquisite gift bag. I casually tossed it in front of them. Take a look. This is my wedding gift for Miss. Ethan's hands trembled as he opened it. When he saw the glaring abortion confirmation form and the embryo photos, he completely collapsed to the floor. He looked insane, repeatedly murmuring, "Why? How could this be?" I looked down at him emotionlessly, my heart calm as still water. While you were holding Sage, celebrating her love, our child. No, I corrected with a soft laugh. Your and Sage's child has already vanished from my world. Ethan suddenly looked up, his eyes filled with horror and disbelief. You knew everything. He tried to crawl towards me. Leo beside me finally lost his temper and delivered a powerful kick to his groin. Animal! Ethan curled into a ball, convulsing in pain on the floor. I looked down at him, my words like daggers. Ethan, do you remember? When your company faced a financial crisis, my parents sold the house they'd planned for their retirement just to help you through. Later, my mom had a sudden heart attack and desperately needed a large sum for bypass surgery. But you said you were on a business trip out of town, and the signal was bad. How laughable. Only today did I learn that on the very day my mom died in her hospital bed because we couldn't raise enough for her surgery, you were with Sage, paying cash for a $2 million sports car. Hot tears streamed uncontrollably, and my hands trembled as I spoke. I was so foolish, wholeheartedly managing things for you, paving the way for your network, only to achieve your success at the cost of destroying my family and life. My hand finally slapped Ethan across the face. Relinquishing all assets is what you owe my mother's life. Every word was like a knife, piercing Ethan's heart. He hung his head, his expression unreadable. Sage, however, screamed and rushed forward, pointing at Leo and me, her voice shrill. That sounds great. I bet you've been having an affair with this man all along. This whole thing today is a trap you both designed. Before she finished speaking, I snatched the drumstick from a nearby lady and slammed it hard onto her outstretched finger. Do you have any right to speak here? Are you addicted to this? Sage shrieked, clutching her finger and crying. Ethan immediately shielded her behind him, his gaze dark and resentful as it flickered between Leo and me. What? Did she hit a nerve? Caught red-handed? Just then, a girl pushed through the crowd and walked straight to Leo. Whether she's caught red-handed or not, I don't know, but you look quite pathetic barking like a mad dog. The girl intimately linked arms with Leo, flashing her wedding ring. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm his wife, Chloe. Oh, and by the way, today's street performance group was also my friendly contribution. What right do you two cheaters have to slander Leo and Grace? Ethan's face instantly lost all color. Grace, I was wrong. I raised my hand and slapped him again. Get out! Sage tried to lunge forward again. I slapped her backhanded again. You get out too! Before leaving, I pointed at Ethan's nose, speaking each word distinctly. Remember, relinquishing all assets is your only dignified option. Sage clutched her face, glaring at me with venomous eyes. You wish. You're the one who should get out. The ladies who had been watching the drama finally found their moment to shine. All right, ladies. Let's get to work. Get M. The noise and screams behind me were shut away by the closed door. On the way back, I felt like a body drained of its soul. With my heart dead, I paradoxically felt a sense of ease. Memories that once brought pain with a mere touch now stirred not even a ripple. That was incredibly satisfying. But what if Ethan refuses to sign? Leo was still a bit worried. He will, I said, a cold smile playing on my lips. He cherishes his reputation more than anyone. I have plenty of ways to make him pleading to sign. Last night's live stream spread like a virus online. Ethan was overwhelmed dealing with his relatives' concern and tried to spin the story in the family group chat. But after sending the message, he only saw a red exclamation mark. His sister, Eleanor, had already kicked him out of the group chat. He furiously messaged Eleanor, "You're doing this to me for an outsider?" Eleanor only replied with 2 words, "Not close." He then went to William to complain. The response he received was a screenshot of a legal letter, stating the severing of all business and family ties. He trembled with rage, then scrolled to see his sister's latest social media post. In the photo, she affectionately put her arm around me, smiling gently. The caption read, "Poor judgment. Mistook trash for treasure. From now on, Grace is the only true family member of the Ethan family." Ethan almost smashed his phone. I had tirelessly cared for his sister for 3 years when she was gravely ill. I had also once blocked a stick for William when he was provoked by someone, but he couldn't understand why everyone was on my side. Stripped of all dignity before his family, he was in his office smashing things to vent his anger when I reappeared with the documents. "Sign it." Ethan, eyes red, turned his head away. I directly pulled him from the CEO's chair, a symbol of his power. He roared, "What are you doing?" I gracefully sat down, smiling. "From now on, you're not welcome here." "Why?" he shrieked. I threw another document in front of him. "Because for years, you've been constantly embezzling funds from company accounts to buy your best friend's Sage cars, houses, and luxury items worth hundreds of thousands, even millions. I've meticulously organized all these spending records, transaction by transaction. Sign it, or spend a few years in prison. You choose." Ethan signed, his hands trembling. His shoulders sagged completely. The agreement was signed, but the huge hole in the company's accounts, he would have to find a way to fill himself. Eleanor and William had long since blocked all his contact information. When he was at his wit's end, the only people he could think of were his so-called inner circle. In the past, he had always been generous with his friends. If anyone was short on cash, he'd transfer hundreds of thousands, even millions, without batting an eye. If he could just get that money back, it would be enough. He clutching his last sliver of hope. He dialed the first number. "Chris, it's Ethan. Can you return the 1 million you owe me? I have an urgent matter." The other end of the line was noisy, like a karaoke bar, and Chris's voice was impatient. "Ethan, are you kidding me? I already bought a new car with that money. Where am I supposed to get cash for you now?" Ethan lowered his tone. "Then can you sell the car? Just do your brother a favor." Chris instantly blew up. "Why should I sell my car?" "Ethan, how did you become so selfish? But I lent you money for that car. Did I beg you on my knees to borrow it? Don't think we don't know you just love to play the big shot in front of us. Enjoying that feeling of superiority, right? Now that you're down and out, you remember us?" Pfft. The phone was slammed down. Ethan, unwilling to give up, continued calling others. Without exception, all the calls were disconnected. How ridiculous. His boasted brotherhood, in others' eyes, was merely a joke. He had become the biggest joke, with nowhere else to go. He went to the luxury apartment he'd bought for Sage. As soon as he entered, he saw Sage admiring herself in the mirror, gleefully trying on a massive diamond ring. "Isn't it beautiful? I specially commissioned it from a French master. It cost 5 million. Dressed in a luxurious evening gown, she excitedly linked arms with Ethan. "My knight. When are we going to see your sister? The wedding date should be set soon." Ethan looked at her, his eyes bleak, his voice hoarse. "Sage, can you return this diamond ring?" Sage's smile froze, then widened with even greater surprise. "What? You don't think this one is good enough and want to buy me an even more expensive one?" Ethan slumped onto the sofa, taking a long time to look up. "Grace is proof that I embezzled funds for your expenses, forcing me to relinquish all assets. I don't want to go to prison." Seeing sudden change of expression, he quickly tried to reassure her. Sage, even without a diamond ring, anything you wear looks beautiful. The most important thing now is for you to sell the house, the car, and all those bags and jewelry. Help me gather the money, and we'll get through this together. He tried to reach out and take Sage's hand, but she recoiled in terror, as if avoiding a plague, clutching her diamond ring tightly. What does your going to prison have to do with me? These things are all mine. No one is taking them. Ethan was completely stunned. But all of this, I spent it on you. We're supposed to get married. Sage scoffed, her eyes full of disdain. Marry? You think I've been playing with you all these years for free? If you hadn't become successful later, do you think I would have even looked at you twice? You're a penniless nobody now. You're not even worthy of cleaning my shoes. And you still want to marry me? Ethan tried to say something more, but Sage grabbed the heavy ashtray from the table and slammed it hard onto his head. Get out! Get out of my house right now. The ashtray shattered upon impact. Ice water mixed with blood streamed down Ethan's forehead. Sage didn't even wait for him to react before kicking him out the door. Ethan wandered aimlessly down the bustling street, utterly distraught. Not far away, a young father was playfully lifting his child high above his head, while his wife laughed beside them, taking pictures. He abruptly stopped, staring blankly at the family of three's retreating figures. He and Grace had once dreamed of such a scene countless times. He would hold their child, and she would hold him. If only he hadn't hurt her again and again. If only he had lived his life with her properly. Would he be the one embracing happiness now? Once this thought took root, belated regret washed over him like a tidal wave, choking him and making him wish he were dead. A week later, I actually ran into Ethan on the street again. His hair was greasy, his beard scruffy, making him look like a homeless man, staring blankly across the street. I followed his gaze. Inside a luxury car dealership, Sage was intimately linked arms with a stranger, swiping her card for a red sports car. It was the same model Ethan had given her on the day my mother passed away. Sage, Ethan, like a madman, ignored the security guard's attempts to stop him and charged inside. Sage recoiled in terror. What are you doing here? Ethan's eyes were bloodshot. Sage recognized him, scrunched her face in disgust, and said to her new lover beside her, "Don't mind him. He's just an old buddy from way back. Not quite right in the head. Always thinking my money is his." The words hit Ethan squarely between the eyes like a bullet. Regret, rage, madness. All emotions instantly consumed him. He saw a fruit knife on one of the fruit platters nearby. He grabbed the knife and brutally stabbed Sage. The crowd screamed and scattered. Sage fell into a pool of blood, but he didn't stop. Again and again. By the time the police arrived, Sage had already stopped breathing. Ethan had gone insane. As the police escorted him away, he brushed past me, standing on the edge of the crowd. He saw me, and a childlike smile actually spread across his face. "Wife, are you here to take me home? Let's go home." Home. His world had completely collapsed, forever frozen in his imagined past. I wouldn't wait for him anymore. Ethan was sent to a mental hospital due to his mental breakdown and faced permanent institutionalization. The debts of the living, however, still needed to be settled. The agreement stated that all the money Ethan had loaned out belonged to me, while the professional team was making those so-called buddies pleading to pay it back. I stood bathed in sunlight. The commotion behind me no longer mattered. Ahead lay a clear, bright path. It was my brand new future. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any thoughts about this story, feel free to share them in the comments section. Here is Roses and Love, sharing stories about marriage and women every day. See you tomorrow.